tonight. And Adam, you see it at different levels as well, and you've traveled. Could you talk to that topic? What advice do you have for, you see the room here, it's a pretty diverse group.
I guess we could go down a lot of different avenues with that. You know, I would start with the observation that the last time I checked, you know, talent is equally distributed, but opportunity isn't. So from that point of view, you know, frankly, I think the people who need advice are not the founders, but the investors, in the sense there's a big sort of disconnect between the homogeneity of investors and the diversity of founders, and the homogeneity of investors, you know, not necessarily for any ill-intended reasons, creates massive sort of asymmetries in funding. So, you know, the fundamental point around diversity of founders is that they're not actually the problem. You know, they're the solution to the problems of the world. The issue is actually on the investor side. So from that point of view, if you're a whatever type of founder, just do the shit and, you know, keep on pushing hard, knowing that, again, the investor side of the equation is relatively homogeneous, and the facts of the matter are that it does make it tougher for you, whatever your difference is, difference relative to the default investor, which is basically somebody who most of the time looks like me. So if you look at it from a gender point of view, as those of you in the room, female founders know, you know, you can go to 20 VCs and never see a woman. Well, you can, like at the reception desk or bringing the coffee, at the risk of being flippant, but not as a partner, because 94% of VC partners are women. Are guys, 6% are women. Sorry. That would be different sort of asymmetry, but you know, that means that statistically, that, you know, that is what it is. That doesn't mean that you can't get funded. Like, you know, one of my hopefully more successful investments is the Muse, which is now launched with, you know, it's B round, 3 female founders. They're totally killing it. But it is tougher. And again, I think it's almost sort of insulting to say, what advice would you give the diverse founders? You should be giving advice to the investors, if that makes sense.
Yes, I meet them, and I'm actually, if you guys don't know, my history is I'm mostly Wall Street, and I work with a lot of people like Adam, but I'm also Silicon Valley, which is a different culture. You got to get to know people, because investing is a people business and a numbers business. I think that's a lot of that both sides need to remember. It's the best way of putting it. We're all on one earth, and we hope that we're actually moving forward to build great companies together. But, you know, investors are all shapes and sizes, but as you said, they are homogeneous. But you need to go out there and meet them. And I actually met probably about 10 of the founders here, at least 2-3 times before they come here. It takes a while to get here. So make the rounds and get to know us. I'm one of the few women, so it's a good thing.
I mean, I would agree. I think that definitely, you know, I would say networking or speaking on panels like this one, or other kinds of things to be able to network with other people is just so imperative. I think that oftentimes it gets overlooked as women and minorities. There are lots of other things that are competing in our daily lives. I have a daughter, she's 12, and so should I be at home right now helping her with homework, or should I be here? And that's always the question. Or it's been a different question when I didn't have a daughter, you know? And so I think that oftentimes you'll see when you go to women's networking events that people cut out right at the end of the event, and they don't stick around and they don't shoot the shit, and you kind of need to do all of those things, and you need to put yourself out there. And one of the things that we did this year was, with my company, was something called the App ID Awards. And we had, you know, it was an open call for app ideas, people who did not have technology teams to develop those, but they really had the business acumen and interest in developing an application. And we had almost 600 applications come in. And when they first came in, I was really horrified because I felt like there were no women entrepreneurs, and I was just like, I was very, very upset that we didn't see more, because it was clearly, it was colorblind, it was gender blind, all of those other things to be able to submit your app idea. And part of it was then, I thought, confidence for women in what they're doing to be able to submit their app ideas. I was incredibly happy at the end of the day. We did, kind of all of the reviews, and the 6 that ended up pitching at our event, 4 of them were pitched by women.
Oh, great.
Which was awesome, and I think a huge testament to what can be done in the winner. Tucker Box was a woman who actually came out of the Google 30 Weeks program, where Vivian is. So she's just the entire conversation today, I guess. But in any event, I think that people just have to put themselves out there, and I think believing in yourself and being able to go out there is super important.
I don't know if there's any specific advice that I can give, but I tend to, so sometimes I'll meet a founder, a woman, or someone from an underrepresented minority group, someone who looks like me, frankly, who says, well, I think I need warm intros to talk to people, and I don't think you always need a warm intro. I think it's good to try to get a warm intro, but if you can't get a warm intro, there's nothing wrong with going direct to the person that you'd like to have a conversation with. I think the key at that point, if you decide to communicate with the person directly, is to be really self-conscious of how you communicate. So there are 2 types of cold emails I get. One is something along the lines of, hey Brian, I'm building the next best thing in the entire world. You should come talk to me. My deck is attached. I don't care who you are, I don't care where you went to school, I'm going to hit you. And then there's another kind of email, also a cold email. Hey Brian, I found KEC Ventures because of X. I have been building Y since blah, 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 blah. I would like to talk to you because ABC. Do you have 30 minutes in the next week or so? Take a look at the attachment. Seems interesting. I'll go look at the LinkedIn profile. Looks like someone who knows what he's doing or what she's doing. I'll look at my schedule, and if there's time, I'll respond, yes, can you talk on this day? And then we'll have a conversation. And if it turns out that it's not something that we'd want to invest in for whatever reason, then that's 30 minutes of my time, which I've spent doing what I'm supposed to be doing anyway, talking to founders, trying to build great companies in the future. And if it's something that is interesting, then I start the process of due diligence and learning more and so on and so forth. So maybe what you can take away from that is it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. And you won't always have a direct in to the people that you want to talk to, but that shouldn't stop you from trying. And if you write to someone and they don't respond, just cross them off the list and move on. It's nothing personal. There are lots of investors out there, and the person you need to find is that one investor who's going to make time to talk to you and listen to what you're trying to build.
I just wanted to add to that, because I read something recently that actually made me think a lot about the whole intro thing, which we do a lot better than talking about warm intros all night. But anyway,
Yeah,
I'll keep the thought going.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen it, and I'm sure many of you have heard of a fund called First Round, which has been very successful, and they did a post not that long ago, which was basically the 10 things we learned in our first 10 years. So they've been going 10 years, they sort of tracked what they'd done, and the post was basically a sort of, let's look at the data and see what comes out of it. Number one on the list of 10, just to get that out of the way first, was that the companies that they'd invested in with at least one female founder had delivered more than 60% better returns than the all-male founded companies. Which for them was like, we knew they were doing well, but it's like the diversity thing actually is good for business. But further down the list, I forget which number was, a conclusion they found from looking at where they got, because they track where they get the connection to the companies, right? And what they found was that the companies that they had met either cold, or they'd come in cold, or they'd met them at an event or something, performed significantly better than the companies they'd invested in, which they'd got through a warm introduction.
Really?
And that really got me thinking, and I can sort of hypothesize why that might be the case, but that got me thinking about like how I react to just random incoming, which everybody, whether you're an angel or VC, you get all the time. And just to add one thing to Brian's thought around that, obviously think about the person you're reaching out to, sort of show at least the fact that you've like Googled their name or something in terms of connecting with what they do. And to my point before about, you're always looking for somebody who does something a little bit different. Because if they give you a boring, plain vanilla introduction, they're probably going to be pretty boring, plain vanilla running the business, right? So I'll give you an example. So you can't copy this now because it won't be original. But I got an email from 2 entrepreneurs on the West Coast, and all they've done is just done a little YouTube video themselves, talking to the phone, saying, "Hi Adam, this is who we are. We'd like to talk to you." So I watched the video. I'm thinking that's really cool. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you anyway because that's like I've not had one of those before. So like extra marks for originality, and I'll talk to you.
Okay, so get our attention. I get
that's
LinkedIn.
the point.
Get our attention.